welcome to this new video for my channel, The Mental Traveler. I'm Carolera, and today I'm going to be talking about We of the Never Never. I shall be reviewing the book, which was written by Jeannie Gunn and published in 1908, and its movie adaptation, released in 1982, and starring Angela Punch McGregor, Arthur Dingman, John Jarratt, Tony Berry, among others. Before I begin though, let me just say that this will be a spoiler-free video, so sit back and enjoy. And also, if you're wondering where my usual bookshelves background is, well, I'm living abroad at the moment, so for a while you're gonna see me with this wall in the back, so yeah, anyways. Since I was 16, I've been in love with Australia, and since I'm also a history lover and an Anglophile, some of my favorite stories are those where British people are living in the colonies of the British Empire in the first 20 years of the 20th century, because that's my favorite period in history. So all of this has led me to devour many Australian classics, for example, The Thornbirds, A Town Like Alice, The Man from Snowy River, Cloud Street, The Harp in the South, All the Rivers Wrong, among others. And it is through all of this that I ended up discovering We of the Never Never, and I just thought right from the start that even the title sounded really cool. I saw the movie first, and it reminded me of Out of Africa, a film I adore, and of The Flame Trees of Thika, even though they happen in Africa, and this one in Australia. And while the movie of We of the Never Never didn't captivate me as much as Out of Africa did, for example, I still wanted to read the book, and since it's so short, I finished it in less than 2 days. This is an autobiographical novel, which means that we get to embark with the author on this journey that she really undertook back in 1902 to Australia's Northern Territory. She did this after she married an Australian station manager, becoming the first white woman to settle in Mataranka. And while she is there, she manages to become one of the mates. She tells us all there is to know about living in this particular place at this particular time in history, and all the details are quite fascinating. She describes people really well, to the point where you really feel you're under the stars with the Bushman eating Tucker, which is an amazing storyteller. I give the book a 4.5 out of 5 stars review because it was really well written. I enjoyed it, I learned so much about living in the Never Never, and since the writing was really clear and smooth, I never had any troubles with it. I wasn't particularly fond of it because I liked stories to be told in a different way, but overall it has some really lovely passages. So yeah, like I said, I really felt I was being transported 100 years into the past, into the middle of the Australian outback. I liked and admired the protagonist, imagining all of these hardships that she had to go through in nature and with men who weren't that used to having women around. And yet she managed to find so much joy in this remote corner of the world, making her such a courageous role model. So yes, if you like Australia history, particularly the early 1900s, or just want to read a really cool biography, I would recommend you We of the Never Never, and I think it's fascinating how we have this record of Australia's past, thanks to this woman who thought it important enough to write it down. And I found this quote in Wikipedia, which I think describes part of the book's charm. It reads, "The book is regarded as being significant as a precursor of the 1930s landscape writers. Already in 1908, Australia was a significantly urbanized country, and the book was seen to provide symbols of things that made Australia different from anywhere else, underwriting an Australian legend of life and achievement in the outback, where men and a few women still lived heroic lives in rhythm with the gallop of a horse, in forbidding faraway places." As to the movie, I give it a 4 out of 5 stars review because it was a nice adaptation. I think it's marvelous how they actually went out there and shot in the real places where the real life events we are learning about took place. The acting is good and the costumes are nice. And even though it's not a masterpiece in filmmaking the way Out of Africa is, it managed to stay with me through the years enough to make me want to read the book one day. One negative thing about this book that I want to warn you about is that since this book is autobiographical and it was written more than 100 years ago, the author tends to refer to Aboriginal Australians and Chinese people in unacceptable terms, which makes it hard to read at some point. But yes, for the moment this is all I have to say about We of the Never Never, the novel and its movie adaptation. Thank you very much for watching my review of it. Please let me know what you thought about it, if you agree or disagree with anything I said here, because I would love to talk about it with you. In the description box below you can find a link to the Goodreads page for the novel, as well as a link to the movie's IMDb page. But yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day wherever you are in the world. I'm Carolera, the Mental Traveler, and I'll be seeing you soon. Goodbye!